Do you know that the most powerful miracle-working substance in the entire physical world is sitting in your kitchen right now, completely unnoticed and undervalued? Most people wake up every single morning in a state of spiritual and physical dehydration. They crawl out of bed, they reach for their phones, they begin to scroll through the news and the stresses of the day, and they immediately begin to pour the energy of worry into their souls. They are thirsty, but they do not know what they are truly thirsty for. They are looking for a breakthrough, they are praying for their debts to vanish, they are searching for a sign that the universe has not forgotten them, yet they ignore the very conduit that the Creator provided to carry His blessing into the human body. I am talking about water. But I am not talking about water as the world understands it. I am talking about water as a living, breathing carrier of divine frequency. I am going to share something with you today that is so simple it will feel almost impossible to believe, yet it is so profound that it has the power to fundamentally rewrite the script of your financial and physical life. There is a 10-second ritual, a specific way of drinking your first glass of morning water that has been used by the hidden masters of our tradition for thousands of years to activate what we call the flow of miracles. This is not about hydration. This is about information. It is about using the unique molecular structure of water to program your reality before the sun has even fully risen. When you do this correctly, you are not just drinking a liquid, you are swallowing a decree of abundance. You are literally washing the frequency of poverty out of your cells and replacing it with the frequency of the source. This is not a suggestion, and it is not a hobby. This is practical mystical technology that works according to the same spiritual laws that govern the stars and the tides. My name is Rabbi Sarah. For over 4 to 5 years, I have been a student of the hidden wisdom of the Hebrew letters and the ancient science of the soul. My grandfather was a man of great light who lived in a tiny stone house near the Galilee, and he taught me that the first 10 seconds of your morning determine the next 10 years of your life. He lived through the hardest periods of the 20th century, through times when there was no food in the cupboard and no money in the bag, yet he never lacked a single thing he needed. He would sit at his small wooden table every morning, hold a simple glass of water, and perform the ritual I am about to show you. He called it the opening of the well springs. 7 generations of my family have passed down the secret, and today, as the world enters a period of massive economic shaking and uncertainty, I have been told that it is time to release this key to those who are ready to become a vessel for provision. We are living in 2026, a time where the physical world is becoming more dense and more difficult for many. You see it everywhere. You feel the pressure in your chest when you look at your bank account. You see the silent thief of inflation eating away at the value of your hard work. You feel like you are walking through a desert where the water of opportunity has dried up. But I tell you today that the desert is an illusion created by a lack of spiritual alignment. There are those who walk through the same desert and find hidden springs. There are those who seem completely untouched by the tightening of the economy. They attract miracles while others struggle. They find money in unexpected places while others watch their savings shrink to nothing. This is not luck. This is the activation of an ancient law that most people have never been taught. By the end of this teaching, you will know exactly how to hold your glass, the specific movement you must make to charge the water, and the ancient Hebrew blessing that seals the ritual and causes debts to begin vanishing within the first 48 hours. The secret I am sharing with you in the final steps of this lesson is so potent that I waited decades before I felt the permission to teach it publicly. But the times demand that this wisdom be given to the seekers. If you are ready to stop struggling and start flowing, write in the comments right now, I activate my morning miracle. Making that declaration is your first act of alignment. It is you telling the universe that you are no longer willing to live in a state of spiritual drought. Let me take you back to a morning when I was only 12 years old. I watched my grandfather take a cup of water. He didn't just gulp it down like a thirsty animal. He held it with both hands as if it were a cup made of pure gold. He looked at me and said, "Sarah, water was the first thing mentioned in the creation of the world. Before there was light, before there was land, the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. Water is the memory of the Creator. It hears everything. It remembers everything. And most importantly, it obeys the intention of the one who holds it. He showed me that when you speak to water with the authority of the soul, the water changes its very essence. It becomes a medicine. It becomes a magnet for gold. It becomes a carrier of peace. I didn't understand it then, but I watched his life. Despite starting with nothing, money always found him at the exact moment it was required. He never had to chase it. It flowed to him because he knew how to open the gate every single morning. The first time I applied this ritual for myself, I was a young woman living in a city far from home. I was overwhelmed by debt. I had bills piled on my table that I had no way of paying. I felt the walls of poverty closing in on me. Then, one morning, I remembered my grandfather's hands around that cup. I realized that I had been waking up in fear, and therefore, I was drinking fear. I was literally consuming my own anxiety every morning. That day, I stopped. I took a simple glass of clear water. I performed the ritual exactly as he had shown me. I spoke the blessing. I felt the water enter my body like a cool flame of light. Within 3 days, a legal settlement that had been stuck for 2 years was suddenly released. Within a week, a new source of income appeared from a person I hadn't spoken to in a decade. This is not a story of magic. It is a story of alignment. You work hard. You are likely one of the hardest working people you know. You follow the rules, you try to save, you try to be a good person, but the money still slips through your fingers like sand. Every time you get a little bit ahead, something happens to knock you back down. An unexpected repair, a medical bill, a sudden loss of a client. You feel like there is an invisible barrier between you and the life you were meant to live. I hear this story every day from thousands of people I teach. They say, "Rabbi, I am doing everything right, so why is my life so dry?" The answer is that you are fighting the physical world with physical tools, but the physical world is just a shadow. The Talmud teaches that every blade of grass has an angel over it saying, "Grow, grow." If a blade of grass has that much spiritual support, how much more do you have? But you must know how to call that support into your physical vessel. You must know how to hydrate your soul. You have been told that money is just paper and numbers in a computer. That is a lie designed to keep you small. Wealth is a frequency. It is a state of flow. The Hebrew word for abundance is Shefa, and it literally means to flow down, like a waterfall. If your life is a desert, it is because you have closed the pipes. You have allowed the dust of worry and the rocks of debt to block the channel. Water is the physical representative of that divine flow. When you learn how to program the water you drink in the morning, you are clearing the pipes. You are telling the universe that the drought is over. You are inviting the waterfall of Shefa to return to your house. I am now going to reveal the exact 10-second ritual. But you must understand that this requires precision. You cannot do this casually while watching television or checking your emails. When you engage with the element of water in this way, you are engaging with one of the most powerful forces in creation. The first principle is the principle of first consciousness. The moment you wake up, before you speak a single word to another human, and before you look at any screen, your mind is in a state of what the sages call the gate of favor. Your subconscious is wide open. Whatever you put into your body and your mind in those first few minutes will govern the entire day. If you drink water while thinking about your debt, you are literally fertilizing your debt. If you drink water while performing this ritual, you are planting the seeds of a miracle. First, let us talk about the vessel. You must use a glass that is made of clear glass or crystal. Do not use plastic. Plastic is a dead material. It has no spirit and it distorts the vibrational frequency of the water. The vessel should be clean and beautiful. It doesn't have to be expensive, but it must be a vessel you respect. Fill it with the cleanest water you have available to you. As you fill the glass, do not do it mindlessly. Watch the water enter the cup. See it as a gift. See it as the very life force of the Creator taking physical form in your hand. Second, the temperature. The water should be at room temperature or slightly warm. Cold water shocks the body and creates a frequency of contraction. We are looking for expansion. We are looking for the water to enter your system smoothly and begin to circulate the blessing immediately. Warmth represents the quality of chaste, which is loving kindness and mercy. Cold represents gevura, which is judgment and restriction. To attract miracles and cause debts to vanish, we must move into the energy of mercy. Now, the 10-second ritual itself. Stand or sit quietly in a place where you can see the morning light, even if the sun hasn't fully risen yet. Hold the glass with both of your hands. Your right hand represents the energy of giving and your left hand represents the energy of receiving. By using both hands, you are creating a complete circuit of power around the water. You are the bridge. Look into the water. Do not look at the glass. Look into the liquid itself. For the first 3 seconds, simply be still. Feel the weight of the water in your hands. Acknowledge that this substance has been on this earth since the beginning of time. It has traveled through the clouds, through the mountains, and now it is here for you. Third, the movement. This is a secret that many miss. You must gently swirl the water in the glass 3 times in a clockwise direction. Clockwise is the direction of the sun. It is the direction of growth and the direction of the future. As you swirl the water, visualize a golden light spinning within the liquid. You are literally activating the water. You are waking it up. In these seconds, you are telling the molecules that they are no longer just H2O, but they are now a vehicle for the miracle you are calling forth. Visualize your debts as dried leaves being washed away by a powerful stream. See your bank account as a well that is filling up from the bottom, overflowing the sides. Do not worry about how it will happen. Just see the flow. Fourth, the activation of the Hebrew blessing. This is the seal. Without the word, the ritual is incomplete. In our tradition, the word for water is Mayim. It begins and ends with the letter Mem, which represents the womb and the source of all life. You are going to speak a specific blessing over the water before you take the first sip. You will say these words, "Blessed are you, the source of all life, who has created the water to satisfy the thirsty soul. I decree that this water is now a vessel of Shefa. As it enters my body, it dissolves every blockage, it shatters every chain of debt, and it activates the flow of miracles in my life today. I am a channel of provision, and I am ready to receive." Fifth, the drinking. You must drink the water in 3 distinct sips. Do not gulp it. The first sip is for the purification of your past. As you swallow, feel the water clearing out the old stories of lack, the old mistakes, and the old fears. The second sip is for the activation of your present. Feel the water waking up your intuition, your energy, and your ability to see the opportunities that are already around you. The third sip is for the manifestation of your future. See the miracles already arriving. See the found money appearing. See the peace returning to your home. After the third sip, you may finish the rest of the water at your own pace. Now, let me tell you what to expect after you perform this 10-second ritual. Within the first 24 hours, you must follow the protocol of expectation. You have planted the seed, and now you must let it grow. Do not go out and tell everyone what you have done. The Talmud is very clear that blessing only rests on that which is hidden from the eye. If you talk about it too soon, you are like a person who keeps digging up a seed to see if it has started to sprout. You must have the discipline of silence. For these first 24 hours, walk with the posture of a person whose problems have already been solved. If a thought of worry about a bill enters your mind, simply take a breath and say to yourself, the water is working. The wellspring is open. What you will notice first is a shift in your internal state. You will feel a strange sense of calm. The panic that usually accompanies financial stress will begin to lift. This is the first miracle. When you are calm, you can hear the direction of the Spirit. You might get a sudden idea to call a certain person. You might notice a detail in a contract that you missed before. You might find an old bill that was actually a credit. These are what we call the first fruits. Do not dismiss them because they are small. A small sign is proof that the channel is open. When you acknowledge the small sign with gratitude, you tell the universe that you are ready for the large breakthrough. Within 3 to 7 days of performing this ritual every single morning, the physical reality will begin to catch up with the spiritual decree. I have seen people receive unexpected refunds in the mail. I have seen debts that seemed impossible to settle suddenly be forgiven or restructured in ways that felt like a miracle. I have seen jobs appear out of thin air for people who had been unemployed for months. This is not because the water is magic. It is because you have finally stopped resisting the flow of the universe. You have aligned your first consciousness with the substance of creation. You have moved from the desert into the garden. But I must give you a warning. This ritual is a covenant between you and the Creator. If you use the miracles that arrive to fuel your own ego, or if you use your new wealth to lie or to hurt others, the well will eventually run dry again. The frequency of miracles cannot coexist with the frequency of a corrupt heart. If you want the debts to stay vanished and the money to keep returning, you must remain a person of integrity. You must practice the law of tzedakah, which is justice through giving. You must be willing to be a conduit, not just a reservoir. A reservoir holds water and eventually becomes stagnant. A conduit allows water to pass through it, and therefore it is always fresh, always clean, and always full. You now have the key that has been used by the wealthiest and most peaceful families in our tradition for generations. It is no longer a hidden mystery to you. You know exactly what to do when you wake up tomorrow morning. The only question that remains is whether you will be part of the 99% who watch this, feel inspired for a few minutes, and then go back to their old habits of scrolling and worrying. Or will you be the 1% who takes action? Will you be the one who respects the element of water enough to let it change your life? I know the weight you have been carrying. I know the nights you have spent staring at the ceiling, wondering how you are going to make it through the next month. I know the shame that comes with debt and the fear that comes with lack. I am telling you today as your teacher and your friend, you do not have to live that way anymore. The Creator did not put you on this earth to struggle for survival. He put you here to be a vessel of His glory. He put the water in your house as a reminder that His mercy is new every morning. If this teaching has resonated with your soul, if you can feel the truth of it vibrating in your spirit right now, I want you to do 3 things to seal this moment and start the clock on your 48-hour miracle. First, if you haven't already done so, type, "I activate my morning miracle" in the comments below. This is your digital signature on the spiritual contract. Second, subscribe to this channel and turn on all your notifications. I am Rabbi Sarah, and every week I am releasing more of these hidden keys. I will be teaching you about the ancient salt rituals, the secrets of the Hebrew letters, the timing of the moon, and the specific psalms that act as a hammer to break the chains of poverty. If you miss these, you are leaving your financial destiny to the mercy of a world that does not care about you. Third, hit that like button. It tells the algorithm that this wisdom is valuable, and it helps this light reach another person who is currently sitting in the dark, praying for a way out. Go now. Get your glass ready. Put it on your nightstand or in your kitchen. Tomorrow morning, when your eyes open, do not reach for the world. Reach for the water. Reach for the miracle. The sun is rising on a new chapter of your life where the drought is over and the flow has begun. The ritual is ready. The water is waiting. Are you? May the Creator bless you with a livelihood that is sweet and easy, a home that is filled with shalom, and a heart that is always overflowing with the water of life. Shalom.